Dándote un monasterio. ¿Ah?
Welcome. Welcome everybody to the Executive Bureau of United Cities and Local Governments, the inheritor of a century-old movement. The Executive Bureau is our leadership coming together every year, twice a year, and it has 116 members. Today, we are around 233 participants now, but there are 300 registered. We have 56 countries represented. Thank you very much for joining us. To this special meeting is our first ever virtual meeting. Today, we are going to be gathering in 3 blocks. The first one is the official opening that will be chaired by our president, Mohamed Boudra. And then we will have a debate on United Nations 75 anniversary, where we are going to be providing feedback of the constituency of local and regional governments to the future of our world. So we are delighted to have you all here with us for that. And finally, we will have a segment with our institutional affairs that is going to be chaired by different co-presidents. So thank you very much. And without further ado, I would like to give the floor to our president, the president of the Moroccan Association of Mayors, and also the mayor of Hoceima, Dr. Mohamed Boudra. Presidente, a usted la palabra.
Merci, Madame la Secrétaire Générale, chère Emilia, Madame et Monsieur les vice-secrétaires généraux des Nations Unies, Monsieur le directeur de l'Organisation mondiale de la santé, chers collègues de la présidence et de la vice-présidence de CGLU, Mesdames et Messieurs les maires et gouverneurs et présidents de région, un grand bonjour d'Al-Hoceima, Royaume du Maroc. Permettez-moi tout d'abord de féliciter notre coprésident Van Zanen qui vient d'être nommé maire de La Haye et aussi notre coprésident Johnny Araya qui a été réélu maire de San José à Costa Rica. Permettez-moi aussi de commencer par remercier la maire de Rome, chère Virginia Raggi, d'accueillir cette réunion du bureau exécutif, même dans les circonstances défavorables que nous connaissons, et de vous remercier toutes et tous, dirigeants locaux et régionaux, qui manifestaient l'engagement de nos membres pour l'avenir de notre planète en participant au débat de ces derniers jours. Chers collègues, notre place à la table des décisions est encore plus pertinente chaque jour. Et cette crise ne fait que démontrer comment et pourquoi les gouvernements locaux et régionaux doivent, en tant que garants de la prestation des services publics et en tant que sphère la plus proche des citoyens et de nos communautés, faire partie de la solution et des solutions. Permettez-moi de remercier et de reconnaître le travail de notre chère directrice exécutive d'ONU Habitat, Madame Maïmouna Mohsharif. Grâce à notre association dans le cadre des expériences d'apprentissage en direct, nous avons pu établir des liens entre les villes et les régions et entre tous les territoires. Ceci nous a redonné de force pour continuer d'argumenter et de défendre comment et pourquoi la gouvernance à l'échelle mondiale doit changer en plaçant la prestation des services publics au centre. Permettez-moi maintenant de m'adresser aussi au directeur de l'Organisation mondiale de la santé. Cher Monsieur Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, que nous avons l'honneur d'avoir parmi nous pour notre bureau exécutif. Merci d'être présent, Monsieur le directeur. En tant que président de cités et gouvernements locaux unis, et également en tant que médecin, j'exprime notre soutien au travail effectué par l'OMS, ainsi que notre engagement à collaborer avec votre organisation et à établir un dialogue structurel qui permettra de transformer les politiques locales en avenir durable. Chers collègues, la pandémie du Covid-19 qui a secoué le monde a également montré que la voie que nous empruntions dans le passé n'était pas la bonne, amplifiant les inégalités sociales qui étaient déjà évidentes auparavant, ainsi que les inégalités territoriales et continentales, sachant que les virus et aussi les changements climatiques ne reconnaissent aucune frontière et que l'humanité reste malheureusement très vulnérable. Notre décalogue pour l'Est post-Covid-19 de CGLU, des collectivités locales et régionales, reconnaît que la vie ne peut pas revenir à l'ancienne normalité et qu'il est nécessaire de trouver un cadre d'égalité dans l'accès à nos territoires, aux soins, de garantir que les populations invisibles soient reconnues et qu'ainsi toutes les personnes puissent vivre pleinement et dans la dignité. Les sacrifices que fait cette génération et que fera aussi la suivante doivent être reconnus et accompagnés de mesures pour assurer un avenir meilleur. Nous sommes convaincus que le cadre des objectifs de développement durable est toujours valide pour transformer les sociétés de façon plus durable. Et les gouvernements locaux et régionaux sont prêts à mener le débat sur comment mener cette transformation. C'est pourquoi, en tant que président des cités et gouvernements locaux unis du monde, je suis fier que nous ayons répondu à l'appel des Nations Unies et l'appel à la consultation sur l'avenir du multilatéralisme, sur l'avenir de la planète, de notre planète. Je voudrais saluer le travail du secrétaire général adjoint, M. Fabrizio Hochil, et son rôle dans la consultation qui aura lieu aujourd'hui et qui servira à nourrir notre rapport de vision et lui offrir tout le soutien en tant que mouvement municipaliste pour transformer le monde pour les 25 prochaines années. Chers collègues, ce bureau exécutif virtuel est la preuve que notre mouvement centenaire ne connaît pas de frontières, que nous sommes prêts à contribuer, à lutter pour la réalisation des agendas mondiaux et que nous sommes vitaux pour continuer la transformation de nos sociétés. Je suis convaincu que ensemble, nous serons en mesure de transformer l'avenir, de parvenir à un multilatéralisme qui se voit inclusif et qui nous permettra de mieux nous préparer aux crises d'avenir. Je vous remercie. Donc maintenant, après le mot inaugural, je cède maintenant la parole à Madame Virginia Raggi, maire de Rome, qui accueille notre bureau exécutif. À vous la parole.
Merci bien. Let me turn to English. So, hello and welcome. Can you hear me? Okay. Rome today welcomes you, imagining that this important session of the UCLG Executive Bureau, United Cities and Local Government is physically taking place in the heart of our city, in Rome, as planned. The Eternal City embraces all of you. Thanks and welcome to all members. I am delighted to greet the President of UCLG, Mr. Mohamed Boudra, and my best regard go to the Secretary General, Ms. Emilia Sides, thanking them for the organization and conduct of this valuable work session. I'm honored to extend the city's greeting to this distinguished guest, the director of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, the executive director of UN Habitat, Ms. Maimouna Maud Sharif, United Nations Under Secretary General, Mr. Fabrizio Hochschild Drummond, present today as Special Advisor to the Secretary General on the commemoration of the United Nations 75th anniversary. But I warmly thank all of you because highlighting the role of local communities in redefining the future of our planet sounds incredibly new and incredibly challenging today. We need now more than ever to reflect on the meaning and identity of our cities and on the ties that bind our communities, so to plan incisive and lasting action that can tackle the crisis caused by the pandemic. We need sound meaning of investment supported by well-conceiving planning that can support citizens, starting with the more disadvantaged and the most hit by the crisis. Physical distance, a sanitary measure necessary in this historical moment, cannot hinder, must not hinder social closeness, social solidarity. I would like to dwell on this first word, solidarity. Solidarity is an extraordinary word, one of the most evoked in recent weeks. I admire the one of my fellow citizen Romans who responded in an excellent way to this emergency. In all communities, social solidarity, social closeness has been exceptional. I refer to the admirable self-denial of our health personnel, to the daily support of our police forces, the civil protection, the volunteers. I refer to many fellow citizens who worked as they knew and how they could to help all those in need. We must work to make this social closeness heritage the cornerstone of reconstruction and new development. Today, we have to work with twice of our strength. It is necessary to re-establish more robust and universal health system, to offer more accessible and inclusive services, to give immediate and lasting relief to those who have suffered from the disease and those who are suffering from the effects of the economic crisis, the anomalous and terrible wave of this pandemic. This epochal shock has shown us, in fact, in an evident way, how our planet, the Earth, is much more smaller than we imagined, and how our existence and our destinies, our desire and our fears are truly closer than we thought. I am convinced that the multilateral approach and the cohesion between communities, cities, organizations from different countries and culture represent the right direction to reprogram the future in a new, safe and supportive way, to make the voice of the local communities heard more strongly and decisively. The second word I want to offer you is to invest. Investing in people, investing in energies, in creativity, in factories and theater, in an absolute priorities. We must foresee, plan and implement a season of strong public investment in communities and territories. We need to inaugurate a post-COVID New Deal. These months are definitely a laboratory from which we must sort out a new idea of community. The crisis must become an opportunity. This is the very point. To bring those who risk remaining on the margins again into the perimeter of welfare society. We must implement inclusive policies for young people, for women, for families. We have to defend our elders. We want these answers to become structural, such as those that we are implementing for the debureaucratization in the economic activities. relief for commercial operators and neighborhood businesses, measure to encourage smart working and digitalization, support to scientific research and high-tech innovation centers already consistently existing in Rome, especially in the biomedical field. In Rome, we took the immediate decision to build new cycle paths for 150 kilometers, starting from the suburb, to firmly mark an idea for the future of cities, which after COVID shall be more sustainable and careful with the environmental and the quality of life. The last word are democracy and community, indissoluble words. We need to create deeper and more extensive ties and bond, which can take advantage from the ever-accelerating new technologies without dispersing identity, tradition, or cultures, everything that makes us unique. Rebuilding communities quickly, create and exchange good practices, re-establishing values, first of all, cultural. There are tools to defend democracies from the grassroots, enhancing people participation and giving stability and durability to international relations characterized by solidarity between peoples. The UN and its agencies are an example of promoting these values from the very beginning of their existence. I want to thank, therefore, and confirm the most convincing adhesion of Rome to the UN75 consultation, which aims to enhance these unique relationships going bottom up, listening to people. Culture is an exceptional mediator to encourage and accelerate exchanges. For this reason, I am very proud that Rome has undertaken the path of the development of the Rome Charter Agenda on cultural rights with UCLG. It will be a useful tool to consolidate and multiply the opportunities for sharing between people and new forms of social proximity, but also to provide concrete support to the profession of the cultural industry hit hard by this emergency. These years represent an important anniversary of our city, of Rome. We started the celebration for the 150th years since the designation of Rome as the capital of Italy. The Eternal City, with its millenary history, the cradle of law, a place of genius and spirituality, is an example of resilience. Rome experienced many faults, but also countless rebirths. All this without even or ever losing its openness, its ability to bridge cultures and civilization. Rome is preparing to welcome safely those who, like you, love it or wanted to visit. We will restart tourism and hospitality, doing it in a sustainable way. This is why my greeting sounds like "see you soon." Looking forward to hear the characters and the 1,000 voices of the cities and local communities resonate here in Rome. Thanks, thank you all, and see you soon.
Merci, Madame Virginia. Nous espérons bientôt pouvoir visiter votre belle ville, Rome, la ville éternelle. C'est un grand plaisir et un honneur pour moi maintenant d'inviter Monsieur le directeur général de l'Organisation mondiale de la santé, Monsieur Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus. À vous la parole, Monsieur le directeur, et merci d'avoir répondu à notre appel.
Thank you, Your Excellency. The pleasure is mine, actually, and I'm really honored to meet you. To join you. Your Excellency, Mayor Mohammed Bodra, Your Excellency, Mayor Virginia Raji, Executive Director Maimouna Sharif, Undersecretary General Fabrizio Drummond, Excellencies, dear colleagues and friends. COVID-19 is the greatest global shock in decades, causing major disruptions to our health systems, economy, and society. More than 5.5 million cases of COVID-19 have been reported to WHO, and more than 350,000 deaths. Lives and livelihoods have been upended. The COVID-19 pandemic highlights the crucial role of mayors and local authorities as guardians and promoters of good health and well-being. You are on the front lines. I take this opportunity to acknowledge your crucial role and thank you for your leadership in the face of this global crisis. WHO stands with you. In close collaboration with our member states, WHO has produced evidence-based guidance for strengthening preparedness for COVID-19 in cities and urban settings. You can also access dozens of pieces of technical guidance and other WHO resources for local authorities under the EpiWin platform on our website. Of course, as urban leaders, you're looking beyond the immediate response and already planning for the recovery. We cannot go back to the way we did things before, as His Excellency Mayor Bodra said. This pandemic has magnified our existing inequalities and thrived in the gaps in our health systems. Deaths and loss of livelihoods have been strongly driven by socioeconomic status. Lack of universal health coverage has left billions of people without reliable and affordable access to medical treatment. We have seen how even health systems in wealthy countries have been overcome by COVID-19. It's an old public health dictum that the most expensive thing of all is to do nothing. Unfortunately, we're still learning this lesson, attempting to save money by neglecting environmental protection, emergency preparedness, health systems, and social safety nets has proven to be a false economy. The bill is now being paid many times over. Cities cannot afford repeated disasters on the scales of COVID-19, whether they are triggered by the next pandemic or from mounting environmental damage and climate change. Business as usual is not good enough. The allocation of investments and the policy decisions that will guide both short and long-term recovery will shape the way we live in cities for years to come. Nowhere is this more important than in the area of environmental degradation and pollution, and particularly on the greenhouse gas emissions that are driving global warming and the climate crisis. We have a choice. Decisions made in the coming months and implemented in our cities can lock in economic development patterns that will do permanent and escalating damage, or if we wisely taken, can promote a healthier, fairer, and greener world. Mayors and local authorities are uniquely positioned to lead the urban transformation and to deliver health and well-being. Integrating health and well-being into urban planning is a fundamental step in that direction, including on decisions on water and sanitation, transport, housing, land use, energy, and waste management. To support the strategic integration of actions through urban planning, WHO and UN Habitat launched last week a new report called Integrating Health in Urban and Territorial Planning. This is a source book to assist national governments, local authorities, and planning professionals on how to incorporate health considerations into planning. I'm sure you will be hearing more about these issues from my sister, Maimouna Sharif, Executive Director of UN Habitat. We have to combat climate change and environmental destruction with the same seriousness with which we are now fighting COVID-19. Let's heed the lessons of preparedness and early action that we have learned during this crisis. As I like to say, let's fix the roof before the rain comes. Actions do have consequences. And as COVID-19 has taught us, the timely, comprehensive approach make a real difference and save lives and livelihoods. As mayors and local authorities, you are the champions for the green, healthy, and prosperous urban societies of the future. We look forward to working with you. I thank you. Merci beaucoup. شكرا جزيلا أخي العزيز.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Directeur. Ces paroles qui nous réchauffent le cœur. Merci beaucoup. Et comme je vous ai dit, nous sommes à votre disposition, les villes et les gouvernements locaux et régionaux, à travailler ensemble avec l'Organisation mondiale de la santé. Maintenant, j'ai le grand plaisir et l'honneur d'inviter Madame Maimouna Sharif, secrétaire générale adjointe de l'ONU et directrice exécutive d'ONU Habitat. Il nous a toujours accompagnés et nous la remercions. La parole est à vous, Madame Maimouna.
Thank you very much, Excellency, honorable mayors and governors, Secretary General of UCLG regional sections, representatives from the local and regional government networks, fellow colleagues from the United Nations, Dr. Tedros and Mr. Fabrizio, ladies and gentlemen, local government friends, a very good morning, afternoon, evening to all of you, wherever you are. I am very happy to participate in this UCLG Executive Bureau. The last time, Excellency, that I was able to be with you was in Strasbourg in May 2018. And today, I am grateful that we can be together through this Zoom connection. I'm very happy to see that UCLG continues to grow strong and proving itself resilient, responding efficiently to the sudden challenge of COVID-19 and demonstrating deep relevance to the issues we are now all tackling in cities around the world. Many of you know about the exceptional collaboration between UCLG, Metropolis, and UN Habitat in the live learning events we have been hosting together since 25th March under the banner Beyond the Outbreak. It was my genuine pleasure to participate in 11 of the 13 live learning lessons and to share key messages with city leaders facing the pandemic. I have the opportunity to interact with cities and leaders and other speakers about the impact of this crisis. Cities have been in the front line of the response and are in the vanguard of formulating and testing new policies. I would like to take the opportunity to share with you two key takeaways from the sessions. First, the need of adequate housing is now clearly recognized as a matter of life and death. We will not be able to move towards a new normal if people in informality remain at risk. We need to pay special attention to women, older persons, and people living with disabilities. We owe vulnerable communities the promise that we will create the space and opportunities for new jobs and more jobs. Second, I agreed with our Excellency from Rome is solidarity. Solidarity with all communities, including marginalized groups, migrants, refugees, and displaced persons, is very necessary to regain prosperity. City must ensure that the digital revolution does not leave anyone or any place behind. We want to provide safe mobility today and start planning the sustainable mobility of tomorrow. Culture, will remain a top consideration as it strengthens cities to be more resilient. And of course, cities now need funds to recover better, with more resilient against future shock. So we need integrated planning at all levels of governance. Dear friends, as we begin this year, just a few months ago, we also launched the Decade of Action for 2030 agenda. It is clear that if we are to achieve the SDGs, cities will be at the forefront. UCLG has been a critical partner in identifying areas where we must invest time, energy, and vision in support of these shared goals. The outcomes of our live learning session also shows a clear path of collective action for today and for years to come. I am delighted with the increased engagement of UCLG in its undertaking with the United Nations system, and I'm very proud of the pivotal role that UN is playing in bringing the local and regional government closer to the UN. Only yesterday, we had the pleasure to co-organize together with UNEP and UNDP a political dialogue between ministers and mayors about the need to strengthen multi-level coordination for the implementation of the Paris Agreement and how the response to COVID-19 needs to take into consideration greener policies and initiatives to build back better and to build back greener and ensure a sustainable social economic recovery. The response should be multilateral, which is why I am very pleased to hear joining my colleague, Dr. Tedros, Director General of World Health Organization, who has been working tirelessly day and night to spearhead our coordinated response to COVID-19. I'm also very glad to see here Mr. Fabrizio, Special Advisor on Preparation for the 75th United Nations anniversary. This year, the UN celebrates 75th anniversary. This is a landmark moment, the auspicious occasion to renew the spirit of the San Francisco Conference in 1945, when countries decided to come together to find common solution to global challenges in the aftermath of the World War II. The final call, United Cities and Local Government is the United Nation of Cities and Territories. I encourage you to continue your excellent effort to bring together mayors, governors, and local government associations worldwide with UN entities, national and regional government. Together, we are all stronger in building more sustainable, just, and happy world under the umbrella of the Agenda 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals. Thank you very much for all your attention. Thank you, Excellency. Over to you. Thank you.
Merci, Madame Maïmouna. On sait qu'on peut toujours compter sur vous. Merci pour tout ce que vous apportez à notre organisation CGLU. Maintenant, j'ai l'honneur et le plaisir d'inviter M. Fabricio Oshild, secrétaire général adjoint des Nations Unies et conseiller spécial pour le 75e anniversaire des Nations Unies. Vous rappelez, Monsieur le secrétaire général adjoint, de ma visite dans votre bureau. C'était ma première réunion officielle. C'était dans votre bureau, accompagné de Madame Emilia, la secrétaire générale. Et la deuxième rencontre, c'était avec le secrétaire général des Nations Unies. Donc, c'est vous dire qu'on a eu à CGLU le sentiment que le multilatéralisme, que les Nations Unies sont nos principaux alliés. Et je crois que la pandémie de Covid nous a démontré ça. Et je crois que la consultation sera très intéressante en tenant compte justement de ces changements que le monde a connus dernièrement. À vous la parole, Monsieur le secrétaire général adjoint.
Muchas gracias, señor presidente. Me recuerdo muy bien de su visita con la secretaria general, la señora Emilia Saiz. Fue un gran honor poder recibirlo acá en mi oficina. I'd like to begin by expressing my deep regret on the behalf of the Secretary General, who very much wanted to join you today. But today is the day of peacekeepers, and he has to attend a memorial service of the hundreds of peacekeepers who still die each year in the service of the United Nations. Having said that, the Secretary General is very aware and very supportive and in admiration of the growing role cities and local authorities play in dealing with the most immediate and the most pressing problems of citizens across the world. The Secretary General, of course, has had a long career in national politics and in international organizations. But I have to say, and I hope I'm not being indiscreet, but I think he's almost more proud of the work of his wife, Catarina Marquez de Almeida, in local government in the city of Lisbon, than he is proud of his own work. So he has a very direct family relationship and knowledge of the importance of local government and local leadership. I'd like to thank all those present, but in particular, of course, the President, Dr. Budra, and the Secretary General, Emilia. And I'd also like to thank our very gracious host, Virginia Raggi, and also for her really very inspiring remarks. I don't think many UN colleagues could have made such an eloquent and articulate defense of the importance of multilateralism in an interconnected, ever more interconnected and interdependent world. I'd also like to take this opportunity to express both my admiration for your leadership, but also my sympathy for the losses that you have suffered. I mean, I live here in New York, and I'm extremely aware how the hotspots of this crisis have been concentrated in cities, and especially in many of those cities that are present here today. And I think you as leaders have faced the most difficult choices that many senior leaders in business, in national politics, never have to go through in many lifetimes. And I think if one thing comes out of this crisis, it will be even greater admiration for the work of mayors. I'd also have to salute my two colleagues, and I'd like to hope also friends, Maimouna Mohamed Sharif and Dr. Tedros, two great leaders in the UN. I think Dr. Tedros has shown a level of courageous and wise leadership under pressures that would make anybody, many other people crack, or at least jeopardize some of their wisdom and their courage. And I think Dr. Tedros is really completely admired by so many staff across the UN system. As many of you have already said, and is also as came out in the discussions you had and in your decalogue, the pandemic is a magnifying glass highlighting existing vulnerabilities and accelerating existing negative trends. And I think you are at the cutting edge of this. And as Dr. Budra said in his opening remarks, in returning to so-called normality, we have to do better. We honor it to those who've suffered so much in this crisis. We honor it to those who've lost their lives and the families who haven't even been able to grieve them properly, that we need to build back better. We can't just go back to the state of amnesia and indifference that characterized so many of our actions before. And that's why I think the discussions today are so important. You know, when the Secretary General, before we knew the true virulence and dangers associated with COVID, when the Secretary General addressed the UN's membership in January, in mid-January in a major speech, he struck a very somber tone for this year of the organization. He noted that in this 75th anniversary, even then, even before we knew just the gravity of the pandemic we were facing, even then, he said that this is no moment for celebration. There are major trends that are really putting our planet in jeopardy. And he mentioned 4 threats. The first he highlighted, and this has only grown worse, magnified by this pandemic, is the return of geopolitical tensions. So we have this contradiction where we need multilateralism more than ever, where we need joined up action across the globe to deal with truly global threats that escape the power of any one country, however large and mighty. We're seeing the world being ripped apart through a resurgence of geopolitics. The second challenge he mentioned was the existential threat of the climate emergency. I mean, our colleague from the United Nations Environmental Programme has said, if we think the damage done by COVID is bad, it may be slower onset. The results may not always be so visible, but the effects on our lives, on our planet, on our welfare, on everything we know will be far worse if we don't get global warming under control. A third challenge the Secretary General highlighted was the dark side of the digital world and transformative technologies. Of course, new technologies have been life-saving in this pandemic. We wouldn't be able to hold this meeting in a pre-digital age. So there's no question they've brought multiple advantages, but they also represent, where inadequately managed, a threat to our privacy, a threat to our democracies, a threat to our security, and in some cases, a threat to equality. The digital divide will be much greater in a post-COVID world. Many of us who have the benefit of digital connection can continue working, continue educating our children. But let's pause to think for a moment of those who don't have that advantage, which is over 60% of women across the world and about 50% of all human kind. And the other challenge the Secretary General highlighted was deep and growing global distrust. And now, as noted, a fifth challenge has arisen, which in many ways magnifies all these other challenges that pre-existed. And that, of course, is the pandemic. And the pandemic is not only, as Dr. Tedros hinted, probably the most serious public health challenge we've had in 100 years, but it's also a major economic, a major development, a major human rights catastrophe. For the first time since 1990, the development will go backwards globally. Access to health, access to education, and income will all decline. We will progress in eradication of poverty will be reversed, not to speak of unemployment, which you're all too familiar with. The impact on education is also going to be devastating. 90% of the world's students have been affected by school closures. If you think about those who don't have connectivity, the calculation is that 60% of primary school age children in over 80% of countries with low incomes are now have no schooling. And that is a loss that is not so easily made up for. And this virus has not only, as Dr. Tedros hinted, expose the vulnerability and the weaknesses in many countries, by no means in all, of our public health systems, but it's also shown up the weaknesses of many of our institutions. It's shown up our failure in terms of an adequate response on the climate crisis. It's shown up our failure to respond adequately to the insecurities on the internet, the insecurity of cyber attack, which have tripled while internet use has doubled. The number of attacks has gone up much higher than the number of increased internet attacks. It's shown up in the misinformation, the dangerous misinformation we see spread over the internet. And it's also shown up in the growing inequalities that this crisis has revealed. You know, sometimes it's said that this pandemic treats all equally. I mean, the statistics actually don't bear that out. Minority populations in many countries are disproportionately affected. So, you know, I think this crisis coincides with the 75th anniversary of the UN, and it illustrates in the most tragic and painful way that we can imagine just how interconnected the world is, how blurred the lines are between national, global, and local interests, and how important it is to have greater unity and solidarity. You know, often when one talks of multilateralism and the importance of multilateralism, many are not really sure what the word means. And even those who know what the word means can often suggest that it's rather academic. But the bottom line in this crisis is that to the extent that we have joined up multilateral approaches, lives will be saved. And to the extent that we don't have joined up multilateral approaches, lives will be lost. So multilateralism is not some academic pursuit of the idle elite liberal classes. It is a fundamental life-saving need in an interdependent and joined up globe. And of course, when I talk about interdependent and joined up, that just doesn't only embrace the need to work across borders of countries, but it also means that we need to work much more effectively between all stakeholder groups, between cities and national authorities, between cities and cities, between youth and the older generation, between the private sector, civil society, and local and national authorities. If this crisis has reminded us of anything, it's that we simply cannot afford the siloed action by any actor if we're to deal with the threats that ignore and disregard all such silos and institutional or geographic boundaries. I think for these reasons, the Secretary General has been so active in promoting the idea that we need to both deal with the crisis and its aftermath with much greater focus on equity and social inclusion. Protecting health systems and public services is essential. Social protection and job protection are essential. Supporting of small and medium-sized enterprises and the informal sector of workers are essential. And of course, peace, good governance, and trust within societies are foundations that are more fundamental than ever. And all our efforts have to be guided by human rights, and specifically the rights of those who tend to be the first to be forgotten or the most excluded. And as a number of you have said, we need to make sure that we recover better. We don't just return to the status quo ante, but we need to breathe new life into the Sustainable Development Goals. We need to breathe new life into environmental protection and efforts to combat climate change. And we need to work on the next generation of multilateralism, which has to be a much more inclusive multilateralism, which fully recognizes the critical role that cities and local communities play in the world today. So I'd like to conclude with a thanks and an appeal, a thanks for all you've done thus far, and in particular to Emilia and to Dr. Budra in helping us get the voices and the demands and the priorities of local governments and cities for the 75th anniversaries, and we will certainly highlight those appropriately. But I'd also like to plead to you to use your constituencies to reach out and get more people to participate through our 1-minute survey in articulating their priorities and their fears and their hopes for international cooperation against the backdrop of COVID. We are at a fork in the road. There is a danger that the world will come out of this, and we see many signs of that, more divided, with more isolationism, more conflict, more mini fragmented alliances, and less connected. Or we could choose the saner path of a more joined up world where we work better across communities, across borders, across stakeholder groups to address challenges that themselves work across borders, across stakeholder groups, and across communities. And it's up to us, all of us, to, within our respective areas of influence, to try and make sure that we take the right path. And for that reason, we want to bring in as many voices to our UN75 initiative as possible. We will be taking the findings to heads of state who will be meeting on the 21st of September in New York. And we hope very much to have in that effort, not only your very powerful and important voices, but also those of your constituencies. But thank you so much again. And I'd like to conclude with the most profound thanks and admiration, not only of myself and my colleagues, but in particular of the Secretary General.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Fabrizio Rothschild, sous-secrétaire général des Nations Unies et conseiller spécial pour le 75e anniversaire des Nations Unies. Dans notre réunion qu'on a eue dans votre bureau, ma première réunion officielle, devrait m'accompagner Madame Ada Colau, qui est maire de Barcelone et envoyée spéciale de CGLU auprès des Nations Unies, mais par force majeure, elle n'a pas pu assister et dire que la ville de Barcelone abrite notre siège mondial de CGLU. Je la remercie d'être présente et je lui donne immédiatement la parole pour nous parler de la consultation mondiale des gouvernements locaux et régionaux sur UN75. À vous la parole, alcaldesa.
Muchísimas gracias, presidente Budra, y muchísimas gracias a todos y a todas por esta oportunidad. Estoy muy contenta de poder compartir este encuentro que se produce además en un momento realmente especial, ¿no? Nos ha tocado vivir momentos históricos y en el mismo momento en que estábamos haciendo una reflexión profunda sobre el futuro y la necesidad de Naciones Unidas en su 75 aniversario, esto ha coincidido con la pandemia que afecta a todo el mundo de la COVID-19, ¿no? Esto es un reto sin precedentes que nos ha causado mucho sufrimiento, mucha angustia, pero también sucede, como todas las crisis, ¿no?, que también esta crisis hace que florezcan, que se vean con más claridad las fortalezas y las debilidades de nuestra sociedad, ¿no? Y eso pone todavía más urgencia a las transformaciones que ya antes de esta crisis teníamos en nuestra agenda para lograr un futuro mejor, que finalmente es el objetivo compartido que tenemos. En esta perspectiva de transformar el mundo para que sea mejor, las ciudades tenemos la determinación de ser parte activa en esta transformación, y el mensaje que queremos dar aquí es que estamos preparadas, estamos completamente preparadas para ser aliadas de Naciones Unidas en este cometido. Somos un movimiento, el de las ciudades, con más de 100 años de historia. La primera conferencia internacional de ciudades se convoca en 1913 y CGLU es heredera de ese acontecimiento. La diplomacia de ciudades es transformadora, solidaria y muy colaborativa por definición. Y por eso el multilateralismo nos sale de forma natural. La pandemia de COVID-19 ha hecho todavía más evidente que veníamos de una normalidad que no funcionaba bien, es decir, una normalidad que estaba marcada por la desigualdad, por la emergencia climática, que ponía directamente en peligro el futuro del planeta y de la vida en todos sus sentidos, personas, animales, plantas. Una crisis global tan fuerte como la que estamos viviendo puede ser también, debe ser, una oportunidad. Depende de nosotros frente a esta crisis, tenemos nosotros la responsabilidad de actuar para hacerlo mejor respecto a cómo lo estábamos haciendo antes. En este contexto de grandes desafíos sin precedentes, el trabajo llevado a cabo por los gobiernos locales y regionales, que es un trabajo colaborativo y en red, ha sido muy importante para poder superar retos inéditos que eran imposibles de prever. El mundo local durante este tiempo ha trabajado de forma coordinada con las comunidades, las ciudades, las distintas esferas de gobierno, la comunidad científica, y lo ha hecho con flexibilidad, con capacidad de adaptación, resiliencia y con poder de transformación y de convocatoria. Desde esta experiencia, nuestra organización ha identificado en un decálogo los temas clave que creemos que deben ser discutidos en la esfera global y que recoge una serie de recomendaciones que son la contribución de los distintos dirigentes locales y regionales a este diálogo que hacemos en ocasión del aniversario de Naciones Unidas. Agradecemos mucho al secretario general de Naciones Unidas que haya encargado a CGLU, que haya confiado en nuestra organización para elaborar un informe sobre el mundo que los gobiernos locales y regionales imaginamos y deseamos para el año 2045, coincidiendo con el centenario de Naciones Unidas. Y también que nos pida en ese informe cómo creemos que debe ser el trabajo multilateral y en red del futuro. El contexto actual nos ha mostrado que los retos de nuestras ciudades necesitan de respuestas globales y coordinadas. Necesitamos todavía más trabajo multinivel, no menos trabajo multinivel. Es muy relevante asegurar activamente la inclusión de los gobiernos locales en las discusiones que se están haciendo sobre el futuro del multilateralismo. Además, estas discusiones no deben solo ocupar un espacio consultivo o periférico. Creemos que las ciudades tenemos que estar también en espacios de decisión, porque podemos ser muy útiles. Debemos comprender el mundo como uno solo y que su futuro se construye desde las aspiraciones de las distintas comunidades. La construcción de un multilateralismo útil e inclusivo pasa también por reforzar el sistema de derechos humanos, actualizándolo a la luz de los grandes desafíos de nuestro tiempo. El cambio climático y la digitalización determinarán nuestras condiciones de vida en los próximos 25 años. Y por ello es crucial que los derechos digitales y climáticos sean reconocidos y protegidos también a nivel internacional. Nuestro colectivo está organizado para contribuir a conseguir los objetivos globales, pero también para asegurar que la transformación sea inclusiva y muestre la maravillosa diversidad de nuestro planeta. Una transformación que nos debe acercar a las personas y a sus necesidades. En las ciudades sabemos que más seguridad para las personas no son en ningún caso tanques ni armas. Tampoco son fronteras ni muros infranqueables. La real seguridad, la seguridad que queremos, son más escuelas, más hospitales, más vivienda asequible y más igualdad. En Barcelona venimos hablando desde hace unos años de la necesaria feminización de la política. ¿Y por qué hablamos de feminización de la política? No solo porque defendemos que efectivamente tiene que haber más mujeres en los lugares de decisión, porque somos la mitad de la población y ya va siendo hora de que las mujeres ocupemos todos los lugares a los que durante mucho tiempo han sido ocupados por los hombres, pero feminización de la política va más allá. Es una propuesta que es inclusiva también para los hombres. Es cambiar las prioridades, cambiar las maneras de trabajar. La feminización es poner la vida en el centro. En definitiva. Esta feminización también tiene que llegar al diálogo multilateral global. Debemos poner la vida y los cuidados en el centro. Y eso también significa dar voz a las ciudades, contar con las ciudades para diseñar los futuros posibles, para asegurarnos de que las decisiones se tomen en favor de la paz, del bien común, de la defensa de los derechos humanos y de la lucha contra las desigualdades. Esta es la lógica que debe impregnar la transformación y el futuro de Naciones Unidas. El multilateralismo tiene que incluir la voz de las personas, de los habitantes del planeta, y el mundo local está preparado para transmitir esa voz y dotar de más legitimidad al sistema internacional. Termino ya con un mensaje que voy a dar de forma breve y clara porque quiero que llegue con toda la convicción. Estoy convencida que en el mundo actual, un mundo lleno de incertidumbres, de amenazas, de grandes desafíos, en el mundo actual necesitamos más Naciones Unidas que nunca. Naciones Unidas debe fortalecerse. Necesitamos que sin duda sea el proyecto común defensor de los derechos humanos. Y lo que tiene que entender Naciones Unidas es que tendrá en las ciudades a su principal aliada. Las ciudades podemos y queremos ayudar a fortalecer Naciones Unidas para conseguir dejar un futuro mejor a las próximas generaciones. Los debates de hoy son una muestra de nuestras conclusiones como red global, de nuestras aspiraciones y de nuestros compromisos. Como enviada especial y en nombre de la Presidencia y de la red, quedamos a vuestra entera disposición para continuar esta conversación y para dar forma concreta a nuestras contribuciones. Muchísimas gracias por vuestro trabajo y cuidaros mucho.
Muchísimas gracias, alcaldesa. Ahora devuelvo la palabra a nuestra secretaria general, querida Emilia. Tienes para moderar la consultación.
Gracias, presidente, y muchas gracias a la alcaldesa Colau, que ha resumido breve pero muy contundentemente las ideas que se han venido intercambiando en nuestras consultas. As you all know, United Cities and Local Governments has been organizing consultations at regional and global level. And I would like to thank the Secretaries Generals of all of our sections for their openness to collaborate with this initiative. Some of those consultations are going to be taking place in the coming week, but a lot of the discussions have been summarized in the Decalogue, as some of you have already introduced. What you are going to hear now are the inputs that provide the type of diversity that our broad network represents. I also would like to inform you that UCLG has taken it upon itself to also involve other local and regional governments organizations, our sister organizations, gathered under the Global Task Force to ensure that their voices are also included. Our world is very diverse, that of UCLG, with representation from all over the planet. And what we have tried this afternoon is to make sure that all of those different parts of our world are represented. So I'm going to start giving the floor to the mayor of Ulaanbaatar, Amarasan Saimbujan, who is with us, although it is very late at night in Ulaanbaatar. Sir, the floor is yours. 3 minutes. Are you there? Ready?
Excellencies and distinguished guests and dear colleagues, it's my pleasure to meet you all today. And first of all, on behalf of our Ulaanbaatar citizen, I would like to, and also for the UCLG Eurasia, I would like to express my warmest greetings to all of you. To mark its 75th anniversary in 2020, the United Nations has launched its biggest ever global conversation. This conference is one of the important international conversations that is being held among the mayors of cities around the world during this challenging period of COVID-19 pandemic. So I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all of you for your great effort in organizing this important conference, allowing us to exchange information and experience and learn from one another for shaping the future together. So on the occasion of the 75th anniversary of the United Nations, I'd like to present you the vision of Eurasia, local and regional governments of the future in 2045. So the 75th anniversary of the United Nations is, first of all, the 75th anniversary of the great victory in the Second World War. The whole world fought against the Nazi regime, as we know, and the Soviet Union played an important role and decisive movement in the victory over the fascist flag. One of the significant importance was the assistance of our country, as Mongolia played also an important role in helping the Soviet army, which was comparable to the land and lease in terms of volume. So sharing everything it had, our small numbered nation supplied horses, meat, wool, and also wolfram for missiles and weapons. Mongolian volunteers also fought as part of the Soviet army. So the price of these 75 years of peace is immensely high, as we all know. Therefore, we wish that in the near future, all current conflicts would be resolved and peace and well-being would prevail all around the world. Contemporary global issues dictate the need for the renewal of the global governance system. Its primary task is to ensure the engagement of local governments in the global decision-making process. Global agreements should be developed in consultation with local and regional governments and include their role and powers. This could be, for instance, as we know, local governments should also be well represented in the United Nations governing bodies. This could be, for instance, a special unit for local governments or a chamber of local and regional governments under the UN General Assembly, like the Congress of Local and Regional Authorities of the Council of Europe. So another variant could be the formalization of the UCLG's official status in the United Nations, provided that UCLG is represented by mayors of different cities and from all regions. It's important that municipalities should be included into the decision-making system at the national level as well. For example, through the establishment of a specific municipal working group in national councils. We should move from directive governance to the multi-level one, where local, regional, national governments should act as equal partners and work in dialogue. Nothing can be done while we don't have any resource. Financial resource should be fairly distributed among levels of government. Therefore, minimum percentage of the national budget that should be allocated to local governments should be prescribed at the international level. So this should be enshrined in the country's constitutions as well. Besides, the United Nations should monitor the observance of member states' constitution. During the coronavirus pandemic, the reduction in the tax burden have been taken to support business and entrepreneurs. However, this reduction is not due to the taxes coming to the national budget, but it's regional and local taxes that are reduced in most of the cities around the world. In the future, measures to support citizens should be implemented through national funds and municipal budgets, but not by municipal budgets only. So most of the such significant problems as uncontrolled urbanization, gridlock, and also there's different issues like epidemics, environmental deterioration are inherent in mega cities. To lessen this burden of metropolises, the development of direction should be also shifted towards satellite, small and medium cities. The creation of jobs, also in infrastructures, as well as the implementation of cultural and social projects in the small towns will solve the problems of unemployment and also outflow youth. The same problems apply to the rural area, which plays a life supporting role for cities. Development of different territories is also crucial for sustainability. We consider that transformation is unavoidable. So, and in this regard, we wish to be sustainable in many different areas. We believe that it's local and regional governments who can become drivers of positive change and define the global human development. So there are many issues that we focus on, and it's very important that today we are being able to organize this important conversation, including the United Nations and the UCLG and different cities from around the world. And I also wish you all the best and thank you for your kind attention and the support you have been providing during all these times. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you for voicing the outcomes of the deliberations of the Euro-Asian region. Thank you very much. I would like now to take the floor, to give the floor to the President of Emilia-Romagna, President of the Council of European Municipalities and Regions, our European section. Presidente Stefano Bonaccini, a lei la parola. Sei presto?
Buongiorno Emilia.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
3 minuti.
Sì, buongiorno a tutti, grazie per l'invito in rappresentanza del Consiglio dei Comuni e delle Regioni d'Europa, ben 100.000 enti locali per circa una quarantina di paesi europei. Sono anche il presidente di una regione, l'Emilia-Romagna, che è regione di uno dei paesi più colpiti dalla pandemia, l'Italia, e la regione Emilia-Romagna dopo la Lombardia è stata la seconda regione più colpita perché il focolaio lombardo è in pratica in Emilia, è più vicino ad un capoluogo emiliano che a quelli lombardi. Eppure oggi, dopo 3 mesi, siamo la regione col più alto numero di guariti, si stanno svuotando i reparti di terapia intensiva negli ospedali e tra pochi giorni potrebbe succedere che in Italia vengono riaperti i confini di spostamento tra regioni. Volevo dire 2 cose su questo. Noi abbiamo bisogno a livello europeo certamente. Ieri l'Unione Europea ha immaginato di devolvere verso gli stati nazionali più colpiti una quantità di risorse che non si erano mai viste nel passato, proprio per cercare di dare una mano nei prossimi anni alla ripartenza di un continente e dell'Unione Europea, di tanti paesi che saranno colpiti e sono colpiti duramente da questa pandemia che vede il rischio, anzi la certezza, di nuovi disoccupati e di imprese che chiudono. Credo che mai come questa volta il tema riguardi il mondo, anzi verrebbe da dire, perdonatemi la digressione, che quei sistemi democratici guidati con un po' di autorità e che hanno persino negato dall'inizio la pandemia sono quelli che oggi la pagano più duramente, a proposito di necessità, di dialogo, di qualità della democrazia, di cooperazione. Noi ci dobbiamo dare una mano perché mai come questa volta abbiamo visto che non conta il colore della pelle, non conta l'etnia a cui si appartiene, non conta la religione che si professa e non conta la condizione sociale ed economica delle persone o delle famiglie. Il virus ha colpito tutti quanti non guardando in faccia a nessuno e abbiamo bisogno di immaginare e di investire. Condivido molto quello che ha detto Ada Colau e hanno detto quelli che mi hanno preceduto, in una forte cooperazione e collaborazione tra i territori, tra i governi locali e regionali. Se in Italia si riuscirà a uscirne meglio di come immaginavamo è grazie al lavoro delle regioni e dei territori. Allora voglio dire, e chiudo, che mai come questa volta si è visto l'importanza di una sanità pubblica. Se la cavano meglio quei paesi che hanno una forte sanità pubblica, universalistica, che aiuta tutti quanti, ricchi o poveri che siano. E ci vorrà un forte radicamento dei servizi pubblici locali, guai a immaginare di smantellarli come è accaduto negli ultimi anni e decenni, e come Presidente del Consiglio dei Comuni e Regioni d'Europa, territorio colpito ma che ha una lunga e forte tradizione di servizi pubblici, vogliamo dialogare e collaborare con voi proprio perché crediamo che da questa pandemia si potrà uscire solo se lavoriamo insieme. Grazie.
Grazie Presidente, anche per tenere il tempo, grazie mille per questi messaggi molto importanti. Public services, a very important issue that we have put in our recommendations as key. Public services not only around health, but also mobility, waste management, all of the things that local and regional governments are responsible for. Allow me to go now to another part of the world, to the Deputy Governor of Jakarta, Ms. Suharti Sutar. She is in charge of population control and human settlements.
Thank you.
The floor is yours, Madam.
Excellencies, Director Generals of WHO is here still. UN Undersecretary Generals, Honorable Governors, Mayors, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning to you in the American continent. Good afternoon for you in the Europe and Africa. Good evening to you in Asia, and probably it's already late evening for you in the Pacific. But first of all, please allow me to representing UCLG Asia Pacific to deliver a statement on what the international community should prioritize to recover from the pandemic. COVID-19 is a crisis of many phases. It has challenged the way we work, the way we live, and now and also in the future for sure. And we have been doing all what we can to assist our citizens through its a very difficult period of the pandemic. The safety of our citizens is our responsibility. The lives of our people is our priority. And every step and actions we take can be meaningful for our people. We have to carefully plan our next steps in confronting this very challenging period together. Build back better is the heart of what we do with the Sendai framework. And in the Asia Pacific regions for the past 2 months, we have been exchanging lessons and experiences among the countries through our web share sessions, and have prepared the quick guide for the local government and compiled several good practices. To recover from the pandemic, there are actions that we need to prioritize. And first, for sure, we need to manage better our resource, our revenue that is constructed so much. And addressing the COVID-19 has expanded our disaster funds and forced us to rely on budget and resource for our activities in fighting the COVID-19, and also its impact, all impact, very short-term impact, medium-term, even longer-term period. Like for example, for the health and education, everything has to be taken care of. And we need also to make sure that our sustainable economies that can withstand future shocks. Second one is to accelerate the digitalizations of public services. With electronic transport, cities are able to deliver contactless financial subsidies. Hospital referral system that's supported by information technology has helped us in ensuring quick response to the need. Monitoring medical symptom and reporting of emergency can be done very easily now. And finally, everyone has to be familiar with the online meetings like what we have been doing right now. And a wider digital access will let us reach our people faster and easier. Nothing is impossible. So, and lastly, it is to enhance our cooperations. We are not and should not be alone. And we should not either start and prepare everything from scratch by ourselves. And we are stronger together. We are sure about it. And especially as we create also the new normal. The results of the UN75 survey for Asia Pacific region shows our optimism that our future will be bright and better off. And cooperations at the international level to cope with current and emerging challenges will continue to be essential. And one additional thing that I would like to add is collaborations and cooperation with all stakeholders within our cities. It is necessary to benefit us meaningfully. We cannot anymore rely on our own government revenue. We all to be given we need to provide all the opportunity to contribute to their beloved city. I do thank you.
Thank you very much, Vice Governor, for these very important messages. We can do this better together, and this is not the time to stop cooperation, and in particular, international cooperation. Thank you for a very strong message. Allow me now to go to the Mayor of Ouagadougou, the Vice President of UCLG. Armand Baudin, is he here? I think so, I have seen you. Monsieur le Maire, c'est à vous la parole, 3 minutes.
Oui, je suis là. Je suis là. Je dis bonjour à tout le monde. Bonjour, bonsoir. Ça dépend de l'endroit du globe où vous vous retrouvez. Et très heureux de retrouver tous mes collègues maires du monde entier. Je vais intervenir par rapport à la perspective, dans une perspective plus longue. Si je devais imaginer le monde dans 25 ans, quelles sont les 3 choses que nous aimerions voir? Il faut dire que nous sommes dans un monde polycentrique, décentralisé, où la continuité dans l'espace et le temps de l'urbain et du rural doit être une réalité. Et également, on doit tendre vers la reconnaissance aussi de tous les types de gouvernements locaux et régionaux. Comme je l'ai dit tout à l'heure, bon, nous vivons dans un monde où les tendances à la recentralisation ou à la décentralisation sont moins efficaces et affectent beaucoup l'autonomie gouvernementale démocratique locale et dont la capacité de nos communautés à s'approprier les objectifs mondiaux et à contribuer véritablement aux ODD est mis à rude épreuve. Les agendas universels de développement, parmi lesquels le programme 2030, le nouvel agenda urbain et l'accord de Paris, représentent un nouveau contrat social qui doit être respecté et l'urgence de le faire devient plus grande face aux défis qui menacent le cœur même de notre planète. Et il faut dire qu'aujourd'hui, l'épidémie actuelle qui affecte le monde entier a amplifié la façon dont notre modèle de développement actuel, malgré les efforts de transformation des programmes de développement mondiaux, met à l'épreuve nos systèmes de santé, au système éducatif, des services de base essentiels et l'offre de logement au système de résilience, tout en brouillant la dichotomie entre les zones urbaines et les zones rurales. Donc, pour moi, 2045, j'imagine un monde décentralisé, un système multilatéral avec un véritable dialogue local-national, une forte participation des communautés locales dans l'architecture internationale renforcera la poussée vers la réalisation des futurs contrats sociaux. Les autorités locales et les communautés habilitées s'approprieront alors pleinement les processus de localisation. Donc, en 2045, nous imaginons un monde où le local est le premier, central et ultime point de développement ascendant, où les gouvernements locaux, les communautés et les acteurs sont inclus dès le début dans les phases de création, de formulation, de conception et de mise en œuvre du développement de nos différentes sociétés. Enfin, pour terminer, nous imaginons un monde avec une approche de planification participative intégrée pour concevoir les villes et les territoires comme le reflète le nouvel agenda urbain, les ODD, l'accord de Paris sur le changement climatique et d'autres agendas mondiaux. Cette nouvelle approche est nécessaire pour renforcer les droits de l'homme, l'inclusion, l'égalité des sexes, la protection de l'environnement, en particulier l'adaptation et l'atténuation du changement climatique, la prévention des risques de catastrophes et multiplier les avantages des liens entre les zones urbaines et les zones rurales. Voilà ce que j'imagine pour 2045, pour un monde où il fera bon vivre pour tout le monde.
Merci, merci, Monsieur le maire, Monsieur le vice-président. A very sustainable world based on equality and a polycentric imagination of the urban era. Thank you very much for those words, and we'll make sure that is included in our report to the United Nations. Allow me now to go to another part of our planet and invite the mayor of Tehran, Mr. Hanashi, to take the floor for us. Mayor, are you ready? Mayor? I don't hear him. Oh, yes, there you are. Please, 3 minutes.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the crisis caused by the COVID-19 to have shown us that there are many in the way global political management is conducted. A politician in different countries are unable to provide the minimum resources for humanity, but are also unable to provide the interests of their citizens. The growth of social responsibility will not be possible except by moving away from unilateralist management model and strain multilateralism globally within a framework of defining new transnational social coalition. The formation of such coalition itself requires the growth of its demand by the citizens of different countries. In fact, it is citizens who must to avoid unilateralism and open new in the relation between nation and country. I think that in this regard, municipalities are one of the oldest and most effective non-governmental organizations. Affiliate with the people and play a very effective role in promoting the social responsibility of government, especially superpower and from new social coalition themselves. As the mayor of Tehran, I have tried to make extensive contact with the mayor of the different cities around the world in the midst of fight against the COVID-19. And there we foster the demand of global society solidarity, the integration of non-governmental organizations such as municipality and their insistence on the global dimension of social responsibility can be the starting point for a change in government politics. In the context, I propose formation of a coalition of the world's metropolitan municipality with a periodic meeting and developing a joint cooperation program to promote the activities of local government in influencing the international macro decision under the cover of current UCLG structure. Not overcome our problem without interaction, defining interest and helping each other.
Thank you, Mayor. We had sometimes a little bit of a problem following, but thank you for that proposal of transnational coalition and a strong coalition among cities within the UCLG to face the challenges of the aftermath. Thank you very much. Allow me now to go to Caterina Vaz Pinto, the Deputy Mayor of Lisbon. Caterina, are you there?
Yes, I am here. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we hear you well.
Okay.
3 minutes are yours.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. And thank you very much for the invitation to take the floor. If I imagine the world I want in the 25 years, the three things I would most want to see are: in 2045, culture will have been recognized by international community as the fourth pillar of sustainable development on equal basis to economy, the social and the environment. In order to achieve this recognition, it would be crucial that the post-2030 development agenda includes a standalone goal on culture, with several targets related to memory, heritage, creativity, diversity, and knowledge, as well as a narrative that clearly identifies culture as a core component of local identity, a strand of global solidarity, and a vector for peace and human rights. Secondly, I would like that in 2045, gender equality will be the norm. Women and men will have equal representation in policy decision-making roles, benefit from equal rights and treatments. There will be not a single case of violence against women, no forced marriages, equal salaries for the same jobs. All our cities will have a large numbers of streets devoted to women. A new feminist narrative will explain the history of our cities and history of humanity. And finally, in 2045, peace will exist. The UN will have the power to convene dialogues when there are conflicts, because we are human beings and we have power and tension. But these tensions and conflicts will be channeled through dialogues with all parties involved and always with the involvement of people and democracy. For this, we will need to bring about changes in the way we co-create the territory by empowering the community. We will transition from an international to a networked multilateral system based on collaborative relations between cities and territories, as well as national and regional institutions. Local and regional governments will become the levers to catalyze these transformations. We need more UCLG than ever. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. I really like that world that you are proposing for the coming years. Thank you very much for those inspiring words. We are going now to Canada and to the President of the Canadian Federation of Municipalities, the Councillor of Halifax, Bill Karsten. Sir, the floor is yours.
Yes, good morning. How are you all doing? I must say first that I've been very impressed. This is my first opportunity to be with you all. So thank you very much for the work that you all do throughout the world to proceed the message of the municipal cause, the cause of local government. I didn't really know that I had an opportunity to speak right now, so I'm a little off guard on that. But I will say that we in Canada echo exactly what has been said previously by one of your speakers from the United Nations, that is Fabrizio Hochschild. We need to come out of COVID certainly with a new way of doing things, and that's certainly what we're gearing for here in Canada. COVID has certainly struck us hard as well, in that all of our businesses virtually in all of the areas of Canada are still closed and are just starting to reopen. So our call has been very strong to the national governments that they must backstop us with operational funding that has been lost due to lost revenue through the COVID weeks and weeks and weeks that we've been involved in this. So look, it's really exciting to see that there's so much unity within the local government sector throughout the world. I just really commend, again, all the work that you're doing, and I'll leave my remarks at that for now. Short and brief, but thank you ever so much.
Thank you very much. We will have more opportunity in the session hereafter. And sorry for taking you by surprise. Somehow our briefings got mixed up, but I'm very happy to welcome you, sir. Allow me now to go to the same continent, but different parts of it. We are going to Latin America, to South America, to the mayor of Bogotá, Alcaldesa Claudia López. Bienvenida.
Muchas gracias. Un gusto saludarlos. It's a very great pleasure to talk to you today. Let me say that we are living in Colombia in a very particular moment. Just last night, the president decided to open up almost all the economy and to reactivate almost all the sectors. We have been working in improving our health capacity, but it may have limits. We haven't yet received not even one ventilator additional to the ones we had before. So it's a very risky decision, but that was the decision made by the president, and we have to deal with it now. I think that's the challenge that mayors across the globe are facing. We need to face up the needs of our citizens, but the decisions taken to manage the pandemic actually depend on the national government and the presidents. Sometimes we agree on the measures to take, sometimes don't. In the case of Bogota and Colombia, we know that we are basically maybe 1 month waiting to go to the highest point of contamination because of the pandemic. But we're now facing this decision to open up the economy. So I think what we need is to work more closely between mayors across the globe, because this is not one challenge in Bogota or in any sort of capital in Latin America. As the World Health Organization has said, we are now in Latin America the epicenter of this pandemic. Meaning this is the moment in which we should have more tightest and closest measures instead of openings. But we're going in the opposite direction. Instead of tightening the health measures, we are opening the economy and putting ourselves in more risk. So we're gonna deal with this challenge the best way we can. We need collaboration from countries and multilateral organizations directly to the cities, directly to the metropolitan areas, directly. Please come to us directly without all the incumbencies and roles of the national government. I'm not asking to not work with them, of course, but the ones who are gonna face the life and death of our citizens are the mayors. So we need your help now and directly, without any incumbencies and troubles and things that can make us lose time. Time is the resource in addition to ventilators that we have the less. So we need to work quickly and now, and definitely we need your help urgently. So please come to us directly and try to work together.
Thank you very much, Mayor. A very clear message. Direct funding for cities, direct work for cities, and strong collaborations between cities. We are taking note and it's going into our report. I hope our voices are heard. Thank you very much. Allow me now to go back to Europe. We are going to our Vice President, Carola Gunnarsson, the Mayor of Sala, and Vice President also of the Swedish Association of Local Authorities and Regions. Vice President, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, dear colleagues. It has been said now during this afternoon a lot of times that nothing will be the same after this COVID-19 pandemic. But let's remember then that on our way to the celebration of United Nations 100 years, we have set global goals through Agenda 2030. The SDGs are ambitious and we have to take common actions on a local and regional level to unite the nations worldwide to face the challenges ahead. Every one of us need to take daily action to leave a better world for the next generation. In 25 years from now, I would like to see a world with peace and democracy, where local and regional democracy are strong and that all humans worldwide can participate in the democratic work and that no one will be left behind. I would like to see that we have a trust in democratic institutions that provides access to general elections and justice for all, with effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels, and with a strengthened solidarity between people and nations. I would like to see gender equality, that women have the same human rights as men. These rights include the right to live free from violence and discrimination, to see child marriages has ended, and that all girls have the right to education. I would like to see expanding women's economic opportunities and that women has the right to vote and to participate in the political work and to become political leaders. I would like to see a sustainable world where we have handled the climate change, that we have acted for green innovations and investments using green technology and science, that we have been promoting green behavior and developed links between rural and urban areas and developed green transports and mobility, To make this a reality, we must work actively with the SDGs and take serious actions together. I would like to see that everybody, national, local and regional governments and the international organizations will face these challenges together, and that we use our networks to set the goals and exchange knowledge and experience with each other, both within the network and with our partners. The national and local governments and institutions need to see the power of the local and regional level and the strong aim to change the world to be more sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vice President, and for bringing this issue of equality and empowerment of women that will be so critical for the rest of humanity to our discussion. Thank you very much. Allow me now to go to another woman leader in Africa, to the Mayor of Dakar, Madame la Maire, Sohan El Bardini. À vous la parole.
Merci, merci. Je voudrais donc tout d'abord féliciter le secrétariat général de CGLU de nous avoir permis de tenir le bureau exécutif à travers cette plateforme. Nous nous adoptons donc tous à cette nouvelle vie avec des difficultés certes, mais nous espérons, à défaut de retrouver le monde d'avant, que bientôt cette pandémie sera maîtrisée et que nous nous retrouverons physiquement pour échanger. Je m'associe à ceux qui m'ont précédé pour féliciter le président Boudra pour le travail accompli et encourager tous les maires qui se sont donné corps et âme pour organiser la riposte contre la COVID-19. Aussi, nous avons équipé le personnel soignant en matériel de protection et les hôpitaux en équipement nécessaire. En direction des populations, nous avons su développer une solidarité agissante à travers des dons alimentaires et en désinfection des lieux publics, mais aussi en désinfectant les écoles et lycées pour ceux qui engagent un déconfinement en vue d'une reprise de l'année scolaire. Nous avons montré donc que nous sommes toujours au plus près de nos populations, des entreprises en difficulté, des migrants pour certains, tout en assurant la continuité du service public. Cette pandémie mondiale a bouleversé nos certitudes, mais aussi a permis de comprendre que nous devons renforcer les valeurs de solidarité et de coopération. Ainsi, sommes-nous convaincus, hier comme aujourd'hui, que les défis communs exigent des solutions communes. Le multilatéralisme n'est pas une menace. Bien au contraire, c'est l'une des voies pour relever les problèmes communs dans l'interdépendance et garantir l'égalité souveraine des États. Les accords internationaux tels que l'agenda 2030, l'accord de Paris, illustrent ce que le leadership collectif peut changer. Je proposerai 16 axes de réflexion quant au devenir du multilatéralisme. Nous devons réfléchir à un multilatéralisme renforcé et repensé avec une coopération étroite entre les organisations internationales et régionales et qui intègre la diversité culturelle, tournée essentiellement vers le bien-être des populations. Trop de personnes sont exclues des décisions qui affectent pourtant leur vie, en particulier les femmes et les jeunes. Un multilatéralisme inclusif, ancré dans des partenariats avec les gouvernements locaux, les femmes, les jeunes, la société civile, les parlements, le milieu universitaire, le secteur privé. Un partenariat encore plus dynamique avec CGLU grâce à la Task Force mondiale. Nous avons, avec les Nations Unies, un partenariat. Mais nous appelons à une meilleure prise en compte de la gouvernance au niveau local. La gestion de la COVID remet sur la table les difficultés liées à la mise en œuvre du principe de subsidiarité qui est négligé par les États. Une gouvernance mondiale efficace, responsable et transparente nécessite que les acteurs concernés soient consultés lors de la conception des politiques, puis associés à leur mise en œuvre. Le défi de la localisation des ODD prouve que notre organisation doit avoir un statut particulier au niveau des Nations Unies. Enfin, un cadre multilatéral et de coopération plus efficace et plus représentatif pour regagner la confiance de l'opinion publique en s'engageant à tous les niveaux, national et local, en mobilisant des financements pour le développement durable, mais aussi et surtout repenser un système d'alerte précoce opérationnel qui puisse permettre d'agir à chaque fois que de besoin dans un esprit de solidarité. Nul doute donc que CGLU va continuer de grandir, de se renforcer afin de toujours servir les maires, les élus locaux et régionaux du monde qui lui apportent appui et confiance. Et nous nous félicitons à ce titre de la libération de notre collègue et ami, M. Adama Sangaré, maire de Bamako. Notre organisation mondiale devra, à côté de toutes les formes essentielles de coopération technique qu'elle abrite, demeurer cette plateforme sans équivalent d'échange et de coopération entre les villes, les régions, les métropoles et l'ensemble des gouvernements locaux. Je vous remercie de votre attention.
J'ai pris note, Madame la maire, un différent statut pour ces élus au sein des Nations Unies. C'est pris. Merci, merci bien. I am going now to Mayor Kurz, the Mayor of Mannheim. You've got the floor, sir.
Yes, thank you, Emilia, and dear colleagues. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on the important issue of multilateralism. Let me start by asking, what did we learn during the last weeks and months of the pandemic? And the answers were already given in the opening speeches of today. We certainly learned that a real multi-level governance approach safeguarded the success in fighting the pandemic. And we experienced that the local as well as the global community rely on strong and effective local authorities. If the crisis isn't confronted on the local ground, it can't be overcome at all. Therefore, we should say more precisely, only a multi-level governance approach is successful that integrates the local level on an equal footing. Strangely enough, in recent weeks, it seemed that we have lost one dimension in the global crisis, both practically and strategically, the international. The nation state ruled. But city-to-city cooperation and international solidarity have proven to be vital to responding to the pandemic, and it will be even more so in the short and long term. No country alone can fight the pandemic and ensure sustainable social and economic development. Furthermore, the corona pandemic crisis has shown the lack of global regulation. The world remains caught in the United Nations based on the 19th century idea of the nation state and the 20th century post-war challenges of international collaboration. However, the world is longing for an enlarged democratic system of governance. In Europe, we have experienced since years that all the bodies which do not act as assemblies of nation states are the drivers of multilateralism. The Committee of the Regions, as well as the European Parliament, they reflect and deal with our interdependence. This is one starting point for the proposal I want to make. The second one is the fact that the universal challenges are concentrated in cities. The cities are at the front line in dealing with them. All experts in discussion panels regarding various fields, climate, safety, inclusion, public health, housing, whatever, agree that an empowered local level is a prerequisite to ensure not only the sustainable development of cities, but to realize the SDGs overall. Decentralization, local self-government, devolution of power, and a real multi-level governance are indispensable tools to accelerate development. A structured role for mayors and the local level within the UN needs a dedicated space. That is why we as mayors of the world should claim for an open debate on a renewed global system of governance, reflecting the real structure of global societies, the worldwide challenges where they have to deal with. Networked cities cannot be overlooked. Global urbanity needs to be represented in a global governance. But as the role of mayors, leaders of cities with own responsibilities, we have to represent ourselves. This should be not left to national leaders or global organisms. We pledged for a seat at the table. Now it's the time to go a step further. We need a fundamental shift in global governance with a constitutionally guaranteed institutionalized representation of cities and local authorities in the UN system. That is the message we should convey with regards to the UN75 consultation. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mayor Kurz, for this clear statement, which is certainly included in the advocacy that we have been doing together and should be clearly articulated. I really hope the United Nations will have an ear for us this time. Thank you very much. I would like now to go to Latin America again and give the floor to our Vice President, Pablo Jurado, the President of the region of Ibambura, and also the President of the Forum of Regions. Señor Jurado, tiene usted la palabra.
Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Un saludo para nuestro presidente Mohamed Boudra, que por lo menos le podemos ver virtualmente porque estaba invitado a que venga a Ecuador y estaba haciendo las maletas ya, ¿no? Mohamed, qué pena. Igualmente a nuestra secretaria general, Emilia Sainz, cada vez más activa, no sabemos de dónde saca tantas fuerzas nuestra querida Emilia para tenernos coordinados y articulados y muy puntuales. Acá nosotros ayer tuvimos que despertarnos a las 4 de la madrugada y a las 5 estar como niños buenos, educaditos, educaditos en la reunión. ¿Ah? Bueno, yo creo que primero roguemos que en 25 años sigamos con vida. Los que ya estamos en 60 años, estaremos a esa época con 85 años, ¿no? Pero obviamente debemos pensar también por aquellos que esa nueva generación que sueñan igual que nosotros y nosotros soñamos en que la Organización Mundial de la Salud se fortalezca cada vez más, que Naciones Unidas siga cumpliendo, ya serían los 100 años igualmente, ¿no? Un saludo para nuestra gente, siendo nosotros parte de CIFAL y de UNITAR. Necesitamos un planeta donde las prácticas inclusivas sean una práctica de todos los días, que sea algo muy común, que el trabajo multinivel no solamente sea una propuesta, que a esa época sea una verdadera realidad cada vez más contundente, que el nivel nacional de todos los países entienda que los gobiernos locales, las regiones, somos parte fundamental para la puesta en práctica de todos los acuerdos que se realicen a nivel internacional. Soñamos con un planeta en el que la desigualdad no sea la característica, que estemos preparados en esa época para enfrentar cualquier tipo de pandemia, cualquier tipo de desastre natural, siempre dentro de un ambiente sano y más verde. Lo lógico es que obviamente a esa época ya sea común y antes incluso dentro de estos próximos años que la salud sea parte fundamental dentro de la planificación urbana. Yo creo que ese es un sueño en el que coincidimos todos. Ojalá muy pronto podamos ya dejar el sistema virtual y que muy pronto también estemos presentes en las próximas reuniones, en los próximos foros, para darnos un gran abrazo. Suerte y que todo nos vaya bien. Muchas gracias, Emilia.
Muchas gracias, vicepresidente. Efectivamente, vamos a cruzar los dedos y hacer todo lo que podamos por seguir sanos y por seguir creativos. Muchas gracias. And we are going to wrap up this debate, this block, this discussion with the intervention of a UN city, the city of Geneva. Mayor Canan, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Emilia, dear colleagues, dear president of UCLG. I'm very happy to have the responsibility to wrap up this session. I have listened carefully to all the intervention. I'm very happy to notice how deep we agree on the crucial role of local governments in general, and in particular facing such a terrible crisis like the COVID-19, which affect everybody to some extent, but obviously some cities are more privileged or more equipped or more prepared than others. And we definitely need to exchange about how to be better next time. You may know that Geneva is chairing the task force on territorial prevention and management of crisis of UCLG. And the question, it has been said by many colleagues, is how to build back better, trying to avoid to just hurry up to the society before. I'm fully aware that we have huge social crisis, economic crisis, huge level of unemployment and poverty, additional poverty generated by the pandemic, but still we need to learn lessons and how to invest in cities of tomorrow to make them more resilient to the next crisis, but also more generally to getting closer to the SDGs and become better. The first thing, it sounds obvious, it has to be said, more than ever, we need good public services, good public administration, especially for health systems, but also in supporting the fight against poverty and all the consequences, being gender-based, age-based, or for whatever consequences of poverty, which are dramatic. But also, there have been little talks the last months, obviously, about climate change, but it still remains the major threat for humanity. And there was a kind of dimension of pollution for, let's say, bad reasons because of pandemia, but still we have to work on acceleration of transition to a green economy and being also socially and economically sustainable. In Geneva, we also try to work very hard on it and to learn from other cities and exchange on it. As Emilia said, we are a UN city, and Geneva is the main place for UN work about multilateral work. We have an unmatched number of international organizations, NGOs, permanent mission, world-class academic institutions, and we work on every topic. So we experience firsthand the benefits of multilateralism, and we need United Nations. But as many colleagues said, we need that United Nations, being World Health Organization, UN Habitat and others, work directly with us to support very practical, concrete, pragmatic solutions for daily life within cities. And especially WHO has been crucial in this crisis, but the budget of WHO is equal as the main hospital in Geneva. They definitely need more money and recognition and not less, as some governments propose, unfortunately. So final words, we are struggling to fight the current pandemic on health, but also social consequences. And we are really happy to learn from cities who manage very well, especially in Asia, Hong Kong, Seoul, but also I heard about Helsinki, Medellin, and this proves how far we can really learn from each other's. And thank you very much to UCLG and its team to organize this exchange. And I wish you really all the best to you and your families and your cities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mayor. A clear message also on a strong multilateralism, more international contacts, more equality. President, a few words now to wrap up this debate before we go to the break and enter into the formal session.
Merci.
Le dejo la palabra.
Merci, Madame la Secrétaire Générale. Merci à tous les intervenants. Je crois qu'aujourd'hui et que maintenant, les Nations Unies sont convaincues plus que jamais que la voix des collectivités locales et régionales doit avoir une place importante dans le futur du multilatéralisme. Monsieur le secrétaire général, Monsieur Gutiérrez, on est convaincu, il me l'a dit lors de notre rencontre. C'est pour ça que moi aussi je lui ai demandé que CGLU doit avoir un nouveau statut au niveau des Nations Unies. Merci beaucoup à toutes et à tous. Et si vous permettez, maintenant on va passer à l'autre réunion, qui est notre réunion institutionnelle, la session institutionnelle du bureau exécutif. Donc, chers collègues, nous allons à présent commencer la session institutionnelle de notre bureau exécutif. J'aimerais tout d'abord partager avec vous la fierté que je ressens et le grand honneur de présider un réseau tel que le nôtre, un réseau bien plus vivant et divers que ce que j'aurais pu imaginer.